Man, I love electric cars. Do you not love electric cars? I think they're the best things ever. It takes a normal, decent human being and turns him into an asshole. And what else would I want in this world for there to be more assholes so I have more people that I can empathize with? Like, you get to see people getting into that little electric car and they polymorph themselves into that nun from Game of Thrones. And as they have one hand on the wheel and the other hand on a bell looking at the plebs, the rest of the mortals, and going like, shame, 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 because they genuinely think they're not polluting. But in reality, any person that doesn't have a pea brain and is of a higher cognitive thought capability, they're going to see it's like, well, hold on, where does this electricity come from? Oh, from a power plant. Oh, do I have nuclear power plant in my country or no? Oh no, I don't. Oh shit. You know what's even more funny? Like, no. I'm pissed off now. I'm legitimately pissed off. It's like every time I hear about people wanting to preserve the planet comes hand in hand with hypocrisy. Like, take for example the mayor in my town. First, he chops down all of the trees in the city center. And then he decides, you know what we're going to do against pollution? We're going to raise some taxes. Some taxes. And then he's like, you know what? We're going to show how environmental friendly we are. We're going to have electric car only parking. Even though there aren't any electric cars in my town that I'm aware of, because there are no places you can charge the car. So even if by some miracle I would decide I want to buy that shit, like, there's no place to charge it from. So how can you use it? I can't charge it with my ass. Maybe, you know, like my science teacher once told me you can make a battery out of semen. Yeah, you ejaculate, you take a copper wire or something, it lights. Maybe that's what I need to do, right? Holy shit, right? But anyway, right? Because now again, I'm pissed off because if you are in a city where there's no parking spaces and the only place you find is like this empty place where it's like for electric cars, what do you think a normal person is going to do? He's going to do the merry-go-round around the mall in order to find another parking place, right? Isn't that how it goes? So isn't that more pollution rather than less, you retards? But no, you know what? The Greens are going to vote for this mayor because it's like, well, look, it's protecting the environment. Fucking hell, the stupidity is killing my brain. And you know why CNN and other news outlets don't talk about other countries and the problems that happen in other countries? Because if they do, by comparison, if you live in the first world, you live in heaven. I'm not even kidding. Like, take any king from medieval time and look at his lifestyle. You live better than him. You live better than kings because you live in this country. No matter, even if you're some of the most impoverished person in any first world country, you still have it better. Like, look, I'm going to just do a comparison to you. Let's look how children are having, the ones that are mining cobalt in the Congo, so that a rich fuck can purchase an electric car in order to save the environment, right? So apparently this was done by Sky News. I guess once in a while they decide, you know what, maybe we should do some actual journalism. Maybe we should actually do something that benefits humanity, right? So they went on and they found child laborers in Congo. Now, you need to understand, I'm not against, as ridiculous as this seems, some nations aren't as developed as the West in order to afford not to have children working in the cobalt mines. I know it sounds heartless, but listen to me. There was a case where a nation that wasn't ready, I think it was Taiwan, decided to ban sweatshops for children, which led to an explosion in children prostitutes. So you need to, because our nations also had child labor. Like back in the days in the factories, we also had children that went there. And this doesn't get solved by just passing some legislation and banning it. It gets solved by simply upgrading the technology to the point where you can actually not have to do this. Or another way would be not to purchase these things so that these children would work somewhere else. You know, I generally think a sweatshop would be preferable than going into the mines, but then the hell do I know? So any rich fuck that purchases an electric car, you're probably encouraging this, by the way. Shame, ding ding ding, shame, ding ding ding. Yeah. So picking through a mountain of huge rocks with his tiny bare hands, the exhausted little boy makes a pitiful sight. Obviously, I genuinely don't think like this actually happened, but it's like a journalist, sitting at the desk and like thinking, how can I make this even more artistic? How can I make this even more worse? Like, God, I love the job of a journalist. I wish I would go to journalism school because I would be able to write things like this without people calling me a monster. And then I would have some ads and some commercials. Look at this commercial from Vodafone. Or no, it's from Orange. Look, I get commercial from Orange while reading about the oppression of these black kids. I bet the journalist went there and like, yeah, cheer up, black kids, cheer up. You're going to make me some money. Nothing wrong with it, by the way. It's a profession that I'm starting to aspire to. Maybe I should do journalism school. Why not? Why not? You see an old woman getting raped or something like that. You go and you take a buck out of it. It's like you take it to the public. You cuss up outrage and you put ads. How is that not a good profession? But anyway, right? No, here in Romania we call journalists vultures because every time there's a tragedy, like vultures, they gather. It's like I had a friend. Why am I talking about this? Because it's interesting. I had a friend which, unfortunately, his father was a prosecutor and he was accused of corruption. So the father goes to hang himself, right? And after he hangs himself, turns out that he was found innocent. So the accusation was false, didn't stick. But what's interesting is, right, like my friend is suffering. He's just sitting alone in his house. I think he was like first grade or second grade. Like he was really young. And then a knock at the door, right, on Christmas. And it was the journalist, the press. And his mother told him not to speak with the press, right? So he asked, like, who's there? And the press says, Santa Claus from Pro TV. Just so you can understand, how I admire journalists and I want to become like them. Like, to have the balls to do something like this. Like, mwah. Anyway, right, so the kid's name is Dorson. And he is one of an army of children, some just 4 years old, working in the vast polluted mines of the Democratic Republic of Congo, where toxic red dust burns his eyes and they run the risk of skin disease and in a deadly lung condition. Well, yeah, but it's so someone in the West can have an electric car, right? Greta told him so. He should. No, look. I wish I could talk with Dorson. I wish I could talk with Dorson to tell Greta, who's like taken away my childhood for going to the UN and whatnot, and Dorson should be like, hang in there, Greta. I know it's tough. Hang in there. Like that's what I want to do. Here for a wage of just 8 pennies a day, the children are made to check the rocks for the telltale chocolate brown streaks of cobalt, the prized ingredient essentially for the batteries that power electric cars, and it's feared that thousands more children could be about to be dragged into this hellish existence after the historic pledge made by Britain to ban the sale of petrol and disease by 2040. Yeah, because supply and demand, alright? So, if you're going to need more electric cars, you're going to have more children into the mine. Oh, who would imagine? Look, oh my God, look at this. 8-year-old Dorson is picturing cowering beneath the raised hand of an overseer. Look at this. Isn't this like a painting that you would want to put, do you think Black Lives Matter would support this? What would Black Lives Matter have to say? Overseer! Overseer, what are you doing? Huh? Don't they actually have a song? It's the song of La Police. Woo, woo. And then it's like, officer, overseer. Huh? Isn't that? I think they're singing about him. They are singing about the overseer of Dorson. And you know what? Dorson should be happy. At least he's not in America suffering from microaggressions and, casual racism and hearing the N-word. Like, he is safe from all of that. While he is working in the mines under the brave stern of the overseer. Look at this. He then staggers beneath the weight of a heavy sack that he must carry to unload 60 feet away in pouring rain. Yeah, but again, no microaggressions. Notice. Dorson, he's not going to get any Twitter harassment. And you know what's even funny? Like, who was it? I think Anita Sarkeesian, when she went to the UN, she said that she wants every woman in the third world, so like Africa, to get a smartphone. And I'm thinking, like, Can you imagine, like, you get to Dorson's house, after Dorson comes from a 12 hours hard labor day, gets a knock on the wood, and he opens, his eyes all red from all of this, and it's like, is your sister here? Get off me. Get away from me. Let me talk to your sister. Here's an iPhone. Wouldn't that be a thing? Oh my god. No, but seriously, right? My point is, other places in the world are really bad. People should be grateful beyond words that they are born in a country like the United States. See, this is why I don't like my fellow Romanians who go, it's like, oh, I'm in Romania is horrible. Motherfucker, this is horror, all right? Like, this right here is horrible. And you know what? I bet that the Congo is even better than other places. Like, there are places worse than the Congo. So, like, what I'm trying to tell is that people should more appreciate the countries that they are born in. You should really appreciate the fact that you're there and not there. And all the people that are like, oh, America benefits from slavery. You benefited from slavery. Everything you have is built on slave. Yeah, well, if you purchase an iPhone, if you purchase an electric car, guess what, motherfucker? You're also benefiting from slavery. Yeah, I bet there is a black woman in the United States purchasing an iPhone benefiting from slavery. And they have absolutely no problem with it. So either you stop purchasing iPhones and brand things that do business in these countries and go for some cheaper option, heaven forbid, or you just shut the fuck up and embrace capitalism like normal people.